Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Board Baobab. We got Gloomhaven here in the background. This is the computer version. Gloomhaven, a very good game, but quite long, difficult to set up. And the computer version is basically the board game computerized. It's a very good rendition of the game. Quite enjoy it. Let me know if you like this format of doing the content, and I'll continue to do several videos in this way. As always, if you like what I do, leave a like and a subscription, as well as a comment down below. It really helps me out. Today, we're going to have a discussion on why solo mode is a good thing in board games, even when it's not their main mode. So I've been going through several Kickstarter and GameFound campaigns, looking through them, and some of them have been announcing that they're going to have a solo mode. They're either adding a completely new deck or a completely new board or new rules, allowing you to play the game solo. And I've seen on several occasions in the comment sections, there are people that are getting very upset that they are planning and working on a solo mode instead of focusing on the main mode, whatever that may be, co-op, semi-co-op. So let's get right down to it. As always, if you like what I do, please subscribe, give a like, share the show with your friends. Leave a comment, let me know what you think and what you would like me to look into. So, point number 1. Learning how to play a game before you teach it to others. Playing a game for the first time is a slow process. I'm sure you've all gone through this. You're all trying to learn the rules, and the rule book is being passed around constantly if no one has played the game before and it's a brand new game fresh out of the box. Your friends are discussing how and what to do. It's a slow process. This doesn't happen to the same extent if the game has a solo mode. Why? Because usually, if it has a solo mode, when you've bought the game, you've gotten out of the box, you have tried it before bringing it to your group. It allows you to get the basics down, the basics actions, the basic flow of the game. It probably doesn't get you to all the more technical stuff. However, it does usually have a similar flow. The actions are all similar, the different phases of the game. And playing through those different phases allows you to get comfortable with the game and allows you to share it with your fellow players or with your game group. There many times I've bought a game and I've been wanting to dive into it, but there's no one around, and I've been able to get into it because it has a solo mode, and this has helped me teach the game to my friends or with my gaming group. Point number 2. More modes give more ways to play the game, which means it gives you more value for your money, more value for the product. Board games nowadays are not cheap, particularly the top tier ones. I'm talking about Gloomhaven. I'm talking about Nemesis. I'm talking about Scythe. These are not cheap board games to get into. It's not where you pay a few $10 or $20 just to get involved in a game. Or in my currency, it's not paying a few 400 Rand. You're usually paying up to 1,000 Rand nowadays. And in dollars, that would be about $50 to get into some of these very top tier heavy board games. And it's even more so when you're getting into the very elite, very how should I say, very deluxified board games. They cost a lot of money, and the fact that it has multiple game modes mean there are multiple ways to play it, meaning your game is valuable more and it makes it worth that cost. Point number 3, not having a game gather dust on your shelf because it's not what your group wants to play. There have been many times I've wanted to get further into a board game, but I can't because there are other things my group wants to play, or because they'd rather play several smaller games rather than one big one. And that's not a bad thing that your group wants to play other things. That's a great thing. And I don't have a problem with playing other things because I love those games too. But usually there's one on the top of your list that you're really itching to play and get more into, but you can't because you usually require other people to play. A prime example in my collection is my Game of Thrones second edition. It is on my shelf right now, gathering dust. I haven't played it probably in 4 years, maybe even 6. I can't remember the last time I played it. And why is that? Because not only is it a big game that takes a lot of prep and effort to get it to the table, but you need 4 to 5 players and an afternoon, in my opinion, to make it worthwhile. But even when all those conditions are met, my group have other games they want to play. I've had plenty of times people want to rather dive into Nemesis, or they want to dive into Cthulhu Death May Die. Games that aren't short by any stretch of the imagination, but they're nowhere near as long as the Game of Thrones second edition is. And any one of you that have played it before know what I'm talking about. It is a long game. It's really entertaining. I've had some very good times with it, but it is a long game. It's up there probably with Gloomhaven, with setting up and getting everything down. And it's a big problem with those games that don't have solo modes. I don't have this problem with a lot of the board games now I'm getting in my collection because I've actually made it a point to try and get games that have a solo mode, because I won't have that game gathering dust, because the more times you play a game, the more you make that game worth it, the more the purchase is worth it, because in the beginning that game has a certain cost per play, and the more times you play it, that cost per play keeps going down and down and down and making it worth it. But if you don't have a solo mode, then you're beholden to others. And unless you're the type of person that forces people and say, hey, this is what we're playing, no arguments, then you're beholden to your group on what they feeling like playing. And I'm not one of those people to force my group to play something they don't want to play. It's a good thing that board games have a solo mode. And I understand those guys saying, hey, focus on the competitive mode or the co-op mode or semi-co-op mode, because that's the main mode you've made this game to be. And focus on that. Don't waste your time with another mode. I hear those people. But the fact of the matter is that if you have multiple modes, you get more of a better experience. It's more ways to experience the game, and it will be better value for you out of that board game. It also makes it less risky, because sometimes, and this is a hidden fourth, I'd say, point, but sometimes the intended mode is not the one you're drawn to the most. I have played Nemesis several times, and I played all three modes: solo, cooperative, and semi cooperative. I will be putting forward and doing a playthrough of Nemesis and doing a review. I love Nemesis, but have had several of my friends and players who I've played with preferring one mode over the other, and it's not always the semi cooperative mode that the game is meant to be played as. The cooperative mode is sometimes what people more want to play. They don't want to have a secret backstabber possibly in the group. They want to focus as a team and try win together. So that's my thoughts on this topic. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Do you agree, disagree? Leave a comment down below. It really helps them with the algorithm. Next, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Cthulhu Death May Die. So that's next on the agenda. Great game. Another game by CMON, who made Marvel Zombies, do Zombicide. Hope you guys have a great week. Look after yourselves and keep growing. Cheers.